Hello and welcome back. I hope you're doing well today. Today we'll be discussing Holy Grails, or your most prized possession in retro gaming. Now, most prized possession is a personal meaning. It can mean anything from having the most expensive game, a game that gives you most nostalgic value, or a game you just simply grew up with and you just love it for the game. So my most prized possessions do not necessarily have to be the most expensive games, but it has a lot of meaning and value to me because I either took years to find the game, or I grew up with them and they just have a special place in my heart. Remember, when I bought those games when I was a kid, they weren't worth much, but because of how humans see objects as value, prices can inflate really quickly. Without further ado, I'm going to show you some of my most prized games. Woo! I will show you some of my most prized games in my retro collection that comes from an emotional standpoint. First things first, Alien Soldiers. So, this game is really special to me because my mother used to work as a private English teacher for big companies in Germany, and she felt bad because I didn't get to see her much. So one day she went into a video game store and she found this in the bargain bin for 10 marks. Alien Soldier is a high-octane boss rush. It's a very difficult game, probably one of the hardest games on the Mega Drive/Genesis. This game is also pretty rare. It was released at the end of the live stage or the end of the production stage for the Mega Drive, only in Japan and PAL region. Sadly, America did not get this game, however, they got it on the Mega Drive satellite connection. I think it's called the Sega Satellite Connection. So this is this is really one of my most prized possessions, Alien Soldier. And you would not guess the price. It's worth about maybe $400 to $500 today. Sadly, my value will go down a bit because I do not have the manual. Actually, it's somewhere in this house. I just haven't found it yet. Thank you, Mom. I'm never getting rid of this game. I should get her signature on it. My next Holy Grail is Moon Patrol for the Atari 2600. Now, Moon Patrol is a fantastic game. It was one of the few games that actually had a dedicated soundtrack, and I loved it when I was a kid. I thought the little car on the screen jumping and shooting lasers sounded so cute, so me and my sister used to play this all the time. Now, it's not really worth a lot of money, but the feeling of joy it gives me when I still play it today is why it's one of my holy grails. The next game I'm going to show is because it's quite an unusual game, and I got the wrong one out, is Thunder Force 4. Now, Thunder Force 4 is quite an expensive game. I think it's about $200 to $300. This one is complete in box. So I bought this for two reasons. I love shmups and for collective value. The seller was actually selling me Thunder Force 2, 3 and 4 complete for about $300. That is really cheap, and I just love the soundtrack. The soundtrack is so insane in this game. Why don't you listen to it yourself for 10 seconds? Right? So, I love this game because it's rather unique, and for the killer soundtrack. And it's been a game I've been hunting for years. The same goes for Ranger X. So if you know me, perhaps you don't know, I love mechas. I love Gundam. Yes, I wish I had a big robot in my garden I could just fly into space and maybe step on some annoying Ranger X is quite an unusual game where you control a mecha who can divide himself into two, to a land-based model and a flight model. Now, I love this game simply because it's a mecha. It took me 5 years to find this. Actually, I have two people to thank for this, but this copy is in my hands today. A big shout out to Underhound and Pal. So this is why this game means the world to me, because it was a very special gift. I don't know how much the game is worth. Maybe my editor will tell you. The next Holy Grails in my collection is Sonic 3 and Knuckles. The reason I'm taking these two out is because Sonic and Knuckles was released first, and then Sonic 3 was released. Sadly, because it was 6 months apart, I got this game first before this one. My mother used to rent this from the Videothek or the rental store in Germany, and I love this game, so my parents bought me this one. This is sadly a new copy because my old copy broke, and that's why I actually hunted the complete unboxed edition of this game. You can see that the value or the quality looks really good. Sonic 3 has a very special place in my heart, not because I grew up with the game and that's probably the most Mega Drive game I ever played. I probably have like 1,000 hours on it or something, because I was busy unlocking all the super and high performance, getting max lives on each save file, which in the end got destroyed because the chip failed. But the story is with this one. My mother's best friend bought me this copy. Her name was Rosemary, and she knew I loved Sonic, so her and her husband Brian found this copy for me and they gave it to me. Rosemary sadly passed away when I was 18. This is why Sonic 3 really means so much. It's like a memory of that wonderful woman and her husband that they gave me this wonderful game. So thank you so much, Rosemary and Brian. This copy means the world to me. No one is allowed to touch it. Well, it's not like I love Sonic or anything. Landstalker and the Treasures of King Noel. So, there are actually two versions I know about this one. The German version, which has the blue case, and the super rare English version. I grew up with this game, I loved it, but I had it in German, so the story was a bit altered because I didn't want to offend God or whatever. Now, the English version is really hilarious. The chickens even say rude things in the game, which I really love. But the reason I love this game is because me and my sister played this all the time. This copy was gifted to me by Raza for my birthday, so this is really, really highly rated on my Holy Grail list. And it's complete in box. Landstalker, the PAL version, is really expensive. I believe it's over $100. I am not sure because this was a present. I have no clue how much you paid for it. But thank you, Raza, and yes. If you haven't tried out Landstalker, you're missing out. This game is fantastic. It's an isometric top-down RPG game with some almost lewd humor, but hey, we love that kind of stuff on this channel. My next most prized possession on my list is Banjo-Tooie. Now, we all know about Banjo-Kazooie, the collectathon game made by the good old team from Rare. However, Banjo-Tooie came out at the end of the lifespan of the N64, so not so many copies were sold. And I was really looking for this copy for years, about 15 years, believe it or not. I was lucky. A gentleman somewhere in South Norway sold this to me by then for 1,200 crowns, which is roughly $120. Now, I don't want to open this box because the box is perfect mint. He actually had it graded. There was like a grade system. Like, there's like maybe one little scratch, but it is very mint. He actually sold me this one because he bought perfect graded mint. Whatever that means. So I didn't buy it because it was mint. I bought it because I just wanted the game and accidentally got a collector's value item. I will be streaming this. I have actually never played Banjo-Tooie, but I've been hunting it for a long time. I've only once played it on an emulator, which really didn't work because N64 is not easy to emulate. But yeah, what I played for the 30 minutes before the emulator crashed looked really amazing. Banjo-Tooie are my favorite bird and bear duo. Another thing I love about N64 is The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Now you're going to say, the box looks a bit different. Yes, this is the Japanese version. And I was very busy hunting version 1.0 for quite a few years. Why? Because this is the non-patched version, meaning the original changes that happened in European cards have not happened here. Blood! You heard me. Red blood. Imagine going down to the well of the monster and there's red blood. The Muslim chant. The religious symbols of the Garuda, they're all on this version, and there's some very interesting bugs. So I didn't buy it because, well, I do love the game. I was really intrigued having the original version before they removed all the offensive material. I can't wait to play this more horror version of Ocarina of Time. And it also has stickers and stuff. I mean, I can show quickly. If you want to guess the price, I paid not more than $20 for this copy because the person wanted to get rid of it. There's this, and you got even this kind of stuff. And there's even stickers in it. So I can say for certain, $20 is a steal. But next, Holy Grail, my collection of the Super Nintendo collection. A lot of people are going to say Chrono Trigger because I have it. No, it's Super Metroid. This was another birthday present given to me by Raza. This was a version that was never opened. And we found it, well, he found it online, and the story was they found it in storage. Sadly, it's not the black framed one. I do have the black framed one, I can show you. But this one, because it wasn't opened, he decided this is the version I used to play on the Super Nintendo. This is just for collective purpose. I actually made an unboxing video if you want to see it. So this is my most prized possession because Super Metroid is my favorite Super Nintendo game. And just having a collective value version is just amazing. So I only buy very expensive non-open or try to not get factory sealed games if the game has extra value to me, like I grew up with it and I love it. So here you can see the difference between the two boxes. And a lot of people say this version looks much nicer, but I like the red version. I know this is an annoying sticker there, but who cares? Of course we have to mention Chrono Trigger. So my community was very kind to come together. We had a fundraiser for this. By then, I believe I paid $480 for the copy. Yes, it's not mint because there's scratches on the box, but the inside is mint. Everything is complete. If you wonder what I'm talking about, here's a link to my Chrono Trigger unboxing video. Everything is complete. And now I was told that this copy is worth $1,000. I am not sure. Maybe my video editor can have a look and do the research for me. But here's my second Holy Grail. Another most prized Holy Grail for me is Clockwork Knight. Now people are gonna ask, that game is not worth a lot of money. Correct. But this is the game that introduced me to the Sega Saturn. Me and my sister played this all the time at her ex-boyfriend's place when I was a little child. And this game made me fall in love with the Sega Saturn. Sadly, we didn't really have any unique Sonic games. We had Sonic R, we had some compilation of Sonic games, and Sonic 3D Blast, Vicky's Island. But I really love Clockwork Knight so much that I decided to get the sequel, which you can also see here. So yeah, nostalgic value and having fun of my childhood. That's why I love Clockwork Knight 1 and 2. This is the first game I bought when I got my very own Sega Saturn. You can see it there with the Xbox. Panzer Dragoon 2 was the second game I played with my sister when I was a kid. We loved it. We loved the on-rail shooting. The story was really sad when you saw the little baby dragon got shot. That broke my heart and made her cry. But the music is phenomenal. Thanks to that awesome female composer. The story is really heart-wrenching and you can get different endings depending how well you performed in the game. I just love this game so much that when I bought the Sega Saturn, the game was officially priced, what was it? I think it says here. So the game was officially priced at 80 euros, it says 79 here, but I got it cheaper. The shop owner sold it for me for 65 euros, which is roughly $65. I think the game these days is way more expensive, but yes, this is one of my favorite Panzer Dragoon games ever made. Let's go over to one of my biggest Holy Grails ever. Panzer Dragoon Saga. Oh boy, only 1,000 copies made in the EU. I think 15,000 copies have been made in America. Came at the end of the lifespan of the Saturn. Sadly, there's a rumor that they can't remake the game because where the source code was, the server burned down, the computer burned down or something. I don't know. It's just hearsay at this point. Maybe you in chat below can tell me why people are not remaking Panzer Dragoon Saga, what the problem is. So Panzer Dragoon Saga is a direct sequel to Panzer Dragoon. And the story here is it's an RPG-based game. Yes, it's an RPG game. They've removed the on-rail shooting elements, but you can still go around and shoot things. This game is really beautiful. And this is by far the most expensive game I've ever paid for my collection. This game costed me 7,000 crowns, which is roughly $700. However, the version that was sold to me was broken. Disc 2 didn't load. I was so heartbroken, I contacted the owner. He agreed to pay for the resurfacing of the game. So we did that. The people who resurfaced disc 2 broke the damn disc in two! I was heartbroken, I was in tears because I gave so much money and now I had a game that was borderline broken. However, the shop felt so bad, they said, how much did you pay for this game? I gave them the receipt. They gave me the 7,000 crowns back, no questions asked, and I still have the broken version. But I was still in tears. I was looking for this game for years and years. I tried every shop, I couldn't find it. My dear friend, AF Retro, reached out to me. He said, I heard what happened to you, I'm so sorry. Can I sell you my copy? It's maybe not looking as nice as your copy, actually looks really beautiful, but I will only charge you about 6,500 crowns. I bought it straight away. I gave him the biggest hug ever, and to this day I'm super grateful. So thanks to AF Retro, we actually got to play Panzer Dragoon Saga in the end. And I learned my lesson, I took backup discs. So yes, I have backup discs for the Sega Saturn. How do I play them? I use this cartridge here for my backup discs. So I will just play with the backup discs now, because I'm terrified for the discs to break. Sad story with a happy ending. Some bonus mentions. Eternal Darkness was given to me by my sister. I love this game because it's so unique, the horror elements will send you crying because it's so crazy with the insane mechanic they have. The more you lose your sanity, the more crazy stuff happens. Eternal Darkness sadly never got the sequel because the people who were making the spiritual successor had some horrible charges against them and one person went to prison. If you want to read more about it, we'll find you the link for that. Eternal Darkness is a game that really deserves a sequel. Yes, this is complete in box. I think the game's only worth $50. I'm not sure, but I love this game to bits. It was the best present my sister ever bought me. That and Metroid. Talking about Metroid. When I was a kid, we did not have much money. My mother was a very hard-working soul, and let's just say when a divorce happens in a household, finances get really tough. It was Christmas when Metroid Prime 2 was released. That year I didn't expect to get anything because we barely had enough money for food. It was Christmas Day, that's where we opened our presents. My mom says, I know we don't have much, but I want to give you something anyway. She went and saved up for Metroid Prime 2 Echoes. Sorry, getting a bit emotional there. And that day on Christmas Day, me and my mother sat together on the floor and we played through the game together. And because of that, this is the most amazing Holy Grail item on my list because of the memory how she gave me the game for the Nintendo GameCube and the memory that we played together. Even though we didn't have much money at all, she wanted to give me something, and this is the best gift she's ever given me. I just have to mention one of the most expensive 32X games, I think it is. Colibri, made by the same person who made Echo the Dolphin. Now, this game is really hard to find. And this is the Brazilian, I think it's Tectoy who made this copy. I was given a Christmas present by my dear family in Scotland. They say, we want to give you something small for Christmas. I got a parcel, a bunch of retro games, I love it. But, when I saw this in mint, because it hasn't been opened before, I freaked out. I said, no way! I don't even want to know how much you paid. Like, are you insane? And he just said to me, Merry Christmas, sweetheart. I hope you love this game. So this game is very special to me because I don't know how much it's worth. We'll put down a value how much you can get the game for today, but I don't know if that's the correct value. And I just have to mention this. So yes, I still have to play Colibri. This is actually the NTSC version, but it works on the PAL Sega 32X because there's no region lock. One of the few games that doesn't have it. A lucky buy. I saw Sonic Shuffle in my local retro store for 600 crowns. I'm like, no way! Why is it so cheap? It's complete in box. It has all the inlays. The seller said to me that the inlays were not original, that they were printed and they didn't feel safe of selling it for 600 crowns. And if I had proof it was fake, I could give the game back to them and they would reimburse me. I took this game to some friends who work in the gaming industry. They had a look. The game is original. all the inlays. They say that the last copies of Dreamcast games had worse quality printing than the earlier versions. So Sonic Shuffle is really special. It's like Mario Party but with Sonic characters. And I've been looking for this game since I was, believe it or not, 16 years old. So when I saw it for 600 crowns, which translates roughly to $60, I had a heart attack. And I just had to show this to my friends, and they have confirmed this is the original copy. So did I get a steal? Yes! Do I regret it? Heck no! Did I tell the shop owner? I did, and he just looked at me and said, I'm happy for you. Last but not least, I want to mention Klonoa. So this is a game I grew up with when I was a child. My friend had it, and I was looking for it for years later, and I saw it's going for over $100 freaking dollars. I auction sniped this game for about $60. The disc is a bit in rough shape, but it works. So this is just another bonus of another item for my Holy Grail list. I have way more games, but Klonoa was a game that really brought me joy as a kid. The story of you being in a dream world where you play as Klonoa, who is actually a cat. People think he's a dog, but he's actually a cat, and he travels from dream to save the dream world and inhabitants of that world. It's a beautiful story. The ending made me cry. Thank you very much, Namco, for ruining my childhood. And that's it. So those were some hand-picked items of my Holy Grail list. If you loved this video, please do subscribe to the channel and leave a like and comment below. If you want to see more of my game collections, let me know in the comments which games you would like to see, which games I should dive deeper into, because I have thousands of different retro games. Thank you so much for watching, you are awesome!